Right. Hi, everybody. It's David here. I thought I'd just do a bit of a live stream of VTOL VR. It's an absolutely awesome game. I can actually close that advert. It will cause motion sickness if you're not used to this. But like it says there, you couldn't really get used to it, and I get zero motion sickness from this. I still get seasick. So it's kind of a flight simulator, very much low polygon, simplified so that it runs nicely in VR. It's actually got quite a nice styling to it, and there's a few aircraft you can try. So something like an F-15, the front of it's like a F-22 Raptor. There's this kind of cargo plane with the tilting jets on the end of it, a little bit like an Osprey without the blades, I guess. And there's this thing which you can see coming in landing over there. So let me get rid of the Steam overlay first while you watch this. Steam, you better get minimized. That should help the stream. There's this thing which is like an F-35 vertical landing thing. Isn't that cool? Wank. That's a great plane, very advanced. There comes the other one. It's a perfect show of what this game's about. There goes somebody landing on that F-15 like aircraft. Right, so we're going to go in. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, I'm using my Oculus headset here. I'm looking at my left hand every so often because that's where I can see what you see. I'm going to select myself. I've done 13 hours in this game, not that much. And I'm going to try this DLC AH-94. So it's a kind of rip-off of the Apache, which is AH-64, I think. It can take 2 multiplayer pilots, and it's awesome. So I'm just going to go in, pick target practice mission. You get to see it now. So there it is. It's got this terrain scanning radar on the top. I've got, what are these called? Rockets, which have got laser guidance on them. Oh, that's not these ones. Actually showing you, which is cool. Small anti-tank missiles, which have got fire and forget. So you lock on a target, you fire it, and it just seeks all the way. And yeah, those little rockets, which are normally just kind of fire, they go in the direction you found. They're sort of projectile rockets. These ones have got little make-believe infrared cameras on them. I've got as well this gun, which is the turret gun, which will go around with that camera you can see in front of it and the pod there. And I can have here a 3-barreled rotary cannon. So let me just see. Chain gun. Duck, duck, duck. Let's try the rotary. So I think this also gimbals with the camera as well. We'll try it. So, and then I've got on the wings, if you like, I've got aims, which are air-to-air missiles. So, now I went out with a bit too much fuel before. Let's just turn that down a bit. Total mass. If you're in a VTOL, it'll tell you whether you can actually go up or down a lot. We've got day and night. Let's do morning. And we just grab our helmet and it loads the map. Let me get rid of this other Steam message. All right, there you go. Should have a nice clean stream. Am I streaming? Yes, green light. So VTOL VR, if you've got a VR headset, it's VR only. If you like flying and you like a bit of simulation but not too much, I can highly recommend this game. So you can see the graphics are, they're not like Microsoft Flight Simulator or even DCS, but they're pretty good. This map is fairly big. You've got mountains going way off into the distance. I've just been up those mountains before I remembered to press stream. And you can actually go over those mountains just about in this thing if you reduce the fuel. And you can see here you've got clickety click. All the buttons are big enough that you can use them with your VR hands. And then let me just turn on the battery here because I've got something that's going to be very nice for you. So I can turn on spectator cam. So now you can see me here. I've actually got a little GoPro which I can move around. I'll just keep you there for just now. So I'm going to start this thing up. Let me bring this back here so you can see the kind of buttons I'm clicking. So main battery's on. Turn on this APU, which is like a jet generator. And let me just turn up the audio here. So you can now hear a little bit, hopefully not too much. Do it like that. So you should be able to hear now my desktop audio. So you hear that APU running. That keeps your battery charged. So that's the RPM of the APU. I can then start the engines. Usually I just take this rotor brake off. And if I turn on these things here, you'll start to see the engines coming up. So engine 1 is warming up. The rotor's at 0. The rotor brake's off. I need to put this on idle. And now you see torque's increasing. And you see the blades start to go. So I better close this door. So there we go. Blades are moving. We'll see this rotor start to wrap up. That engine light has gone off. I can start the second one. Engine 2 goes on, so I can cycle through my other thing. Power on my TADS, which is this camera on the front. Just a color sensor for you. Rotor brake off, rotor fold off. Parking brake on, I'll keep that landing gear down. These are countermeasures. So once I've got both engines started, I can actually turn off the APU. That'll make it slightly more quiet. I don't need to use communications. I'm just flying by myself today. And if I grab you over here, yeah. So I'll just turn this up to flight, and you'll hear the engines powering up. Got an MP3 player over here. A few other nice toys. So let's put you kind of up there. That's quite a nice view. You can see where I'm going, and you can see what I'm pressing. So yeah, everything about VTOL VR is about VR interactivity. I can open the doors. Click every single button that you can see here. And you can see also what I see on these displays here. So I've got map here. That's the city I'm in. Big range of mountains over here. I can actually go onto that, and then I can scroll around it. So it's just a couple of mountainous islands that we've got here. I think if I zoom in, there's not that much on these islands actually. It's just the city where I am here. Let's go over to this island here. So I'm going to set a waypoint by adding GPS send, that button. And oh, whoa, sorry, that was because I was holding onto the collective. If I turn on my HUD here, and you look, you won't see this, but I actually see the waypoint behind me, and I can see the horizon displayed on a green line around me, which is pretty cool. So everything's warmed up. On DCS, you would see on an engine display, you would see proper oil temperature, turbine gas temperature, all of this advanced stuff. So VTOL VR, it simplifies some of that stuff that doesn't really add that much to the game, especially when you're in the game to shoot people down. So radar is on. I'm going to go, let's keep it on that view. We can see where we are, and we'll see as we fly around there. Just going to go here, power up the radar, which you do through this display. So it's a scanning radar, you can see there. TADS view is pretty good later. We've got a comms view here, so I can do ground. I can do request rearm. I can't do much else. If you've got wingman, you can make them do stuff. Radar, equipment is the weapons. Option is game options. GPS is GPS waypoint, so that's that waypoint we set over there. Countermeasures just tells you what we've got, and we can see that there. Objectives of the game tells you there. Nav is that view, so let's go back. Camera is other onboard cameras there, so I can actually see if my weapons are still attached. Things that we can't necessarily see out the window, but of course, because it's a very interactive application, I can't just lean my head out the window. And you too, you can also see what I see. So there you go. You've got that's what's around the back. That's the top. You can even put the camera in and allow you to see this other pilot's view over there. So it's a proper GoPro which I can grab and I can put anywhere. So I'm going to put you back up in this corner here. I'm going to close and lock that window. So ready to go. Can I do a thumbs up? No, can't do a thumbs up. So we're going to take off, turn to the right, put this back on TADS. We'll use it later. So I've got physical rudder pedals here, and I'm using virtual controls here for this and this. So here we go. Lift up, correct with the stick, and a little bit of left rudder. That's not too bad. Just going to keep the collective about that level. Try and keep our level. Try and get some nose down, get some speed up. Then I can bring the gear up. Flyer away. So it's a bit of tricky using this virtual control. You need an office chair with arms on it, but I like it because I don't need to set up anything on my desk. It's easier for me to jump in VTOL VR than it is for me to jump in DCS or anything like that. So I need a little bit of right rudder because I'm slewing. There we go, on the ball, more or less. So that's me flying a true course, compensating for the torque. So you get a very nice sensation of speed. You can see there the terrain is very blocky compared to DCS or anything like that. Textures are pretty basic. So 25 feet there, radar altitude. We've got warnings and all this kind of stuff. You can see we're flying around the coast here. So I'll give her a little bit more power. There we go. So yeah, flying is, as you can see, it kind of takes a while getting used to the stick. But it's pretty good. I think considering that is a virtual control here, it's a very good implementation. I just let go of it and re-grabbed it so I could position my real hand on the arm properly. So that's a little bit more comfortable for me. In reality, my hand is a little bit further to the right than that stick is showing. Okay, there we go. There's an enemy jet. So let's just arm. Is this going to lock? No. Too far away. Okay. So this gun is really awesome. It basically fires wherever I'm looking. So what do you see? If I fire in front, you see that. If I fire to the right, you see that. If I fire to the left, you can see it basically sprays wherever I'm pointing. So it's a very cool gun. The other thing you've got in here, much like a real Apache helicopter, is the whole this TAD system. So on the left hand side here, this camera pod is a pretty good, simple simulation of the camera pod on an Apache. I've been flying the Apache in DCS. I've got a rough idea of what the real thing can do. It's not very detailed, but I have, with some friends, I've got some of that functionality going. So this, you can obviously zoom in on it. And let me just get the camera in a better position. Hopefully that's okay for you. Yeah. So this can zoom in. It's got a very powerful zoom. It's fixed looking forward just now, but I can also attach it to my head. And you won't see it because I see it through my head, but it allows me to see through this virtual cockpit here, which I can put my hand through, obviously, which is very useful if you're shooting at things which are kind of down below you. So let's just put it on forward again, and you can see there. So if I do this as SOI, which is, I think it's screen of interest, I can use my joystick on my left stick, and I can move. I can, as you can see, I can move around where this is looking. And I'll do something very cool. So I'm going to slow her down a bit. So let's just bring her down below 100 knots. I'm going to bring you with me into the front of the aircraft. Nothing much to aim at here, unfortunately. So let's just slow her right down. Then I'm going to go on to autopilot, hit hover and alt. So now I can take my hands off, and I'm going to do something. I'll try and get her to sit at a constant altitude. Put this camera to the front. You'll see why in a second. So I'm now sitting in the front here, and as far as I should be able to grab you. Right, so I've brought you into the front, which is the gunner's seat here. So you can see I need to turn on a bunch of displays. Now the gunner in the front, so this is TADS. Let's put this on nav. Yes, cam. So the gunner in the front has slightly different controls because they have this thing where we can grab onto here. And what I wanted to show you was, so when I grab onto this needs to be screen of interest. I've got, with the two joysticks, I can slew around exactly what this is looking at, and I can zoom in. So you can see here I've zoomed into the sand over there. Let me just get the camera a bit closer. Yeah, so I'm zooming around with this joystick here, and I can zoom with the right stick. And if you look, I can actually fire the gun at anything I'm pointing at here. So I can zoom it out. There's a kind of field of range there. Let's just get something on this little bit of sand here. Spray it in the water. So it's a pretty cool view that the gunner in the front has with this special device really for the gunner to focus on just using the gun. So the gunner can use that just to gun things down. What else have we got in the front here? It's not that much different. So you can fly the aircraft from the front as well. But I'm going to go back. Oh, I've got lights here. That's nice. That is the morning. I'm going to put you back as far as I can over there. And then I'm going to press a magic button that takes me back. And here we go. Here I am back in the back seat. So I'll put you up there while I fly around a bit, and I'll take her back to the base for a landing. So actually I'm going to use this scene again here. And I'm going to zoom in here because there's actually some targets. And I'll do second one as a waypoint. So it should be back, that this is the waypoint. If I zoom back, you'll see the green line between the two. And then as long as I have this, I'm in control again and I can fly her back. So I think there's something to shoot over there. So we're going to use this it's a very interesting view here. Oh. Let me see. So I've just trimmed her. So there's a view here that was actually showing me a bit of what I didn't expect to see. I was actually looking back at myself in the gun. Let me put you back up there. Concentrate on flying again. So there is actually a trimmer on the right hand stick, which is very nice. Gonna need that for a helicopter. Oh, there you go. You can see the gun moving around with my head there. That's quite a cool view. So that means the camera is looking back, which is not really what we want. The gun is trained to my head. The camera is looking back. So let's do forward. Now the camera's forward. So the camera is actually independent of where I'm looking here. I would like it to be on my head. Right. So now the camera is... Alright, so now I've got the camera on my head and I can also see through the what's it called? The TADS camera. Oh. There we go. So I should be able to, putting it politely, screw up these targets over here. Again, just test the gun. Gun usually has plenty of ammunition. Zoom in here. Must be a ship of some kind. So actually you need the TADs to shoot these things. Let's shoot some stuff. So these are boats here. Bit low. So that camera view is very handy if you're just flying it by yourself and you want to shoot stuff. So I just killed 3 boats there. If I go around, and I'm going to use the so it's quite difficult to, and I'm just going to use this thing to lock onto targets. There we go, got a rocket. It's locked on. Boom. So all those boats are gone. They didn't fire back at me, I'll give you that. But it's pretty quick to take out some targets. The weapons in this thing are, if there was something that had such easy to use weapons in real life, it would be insane. So I think there's some beach targets. I'm going to put this forward. So there's my TADs again. I'm just going to get you a bit closer. So sorry about this dodgy flying here. So you should be able to see now. I grab this. I'm going to take the camera over. There were some beach targets. There they go. So if I zoom in, you'll see that this locks into them actually. And I can do like that. To the next one. Next one. So these are fire and forget rockets, remember? They are all done. So you can see the camera actually stays locked onto them until I hit the stick like this. I can bring that away, or I can put it on forward, zoom out usually. Pretty powerful weapon. And if you've got a gunner on the front, so if you get somebody who's just dedicated to locking up those things and the pilot can just fly, it's a completely insane tool. I'm just trying to trim her. So I can put the camera back up here for a landing. Quite hard to do the camera management as well as the other stuff. Ah, right, so we've got a couple of ground targets here. So let's just do... I want to slave it. Too sure how to slave. So I don't know what the gun is doing. There's some targets. Alright, so now I'm alright, sorry about that. Completely out of control, all that stuff. So gear down. Let's do a rolling landing. Parking brake off. I either got smoke going on here, or I've got some sweat and steam going on in my headset just now. So gears down. Gonna do more conventional landing. Too fast. Come on. So helicopters, you gotta manage your speed pretty well. So we'll do a little roll at the end here, I think. This is where, actually, yeah. This view is interesting. You can't see, but I can actually see through. I think. Right, speed's dropped to 20. Let's see if I can bring in a gentle roll down the runway. He's at 35. Touchdown. Oof. So I'm going to do a not conventional taxi. And I've realized I've got to hold it. Oh, don't shoot your guns. So I should be able to do a turn here if I could find my brakes. Ah, that's it. Brakes are on the toes. Oh, the brakes are not. Oh shit, that's what I was worried about. So should be able to do a normal taxi along the ground to the tower. Let's just do it to the tower. So I've got my collective forward. Not my collective. The other bit of the helicopter. Whoa. Okay. Cyclic. Okay. It's a tail dragger actually, since we've got funny round behavior. My brakes. My brakes do work. Just don't see it on my HUD. No excuses. Just keep our taxiing along here. Now we'll do a full park. Just resetting the trim. See our shadow there. Give you a bit of a view, because we can turn on the spot. Back into the city and the mountains. So collective down. Let go of the collective. Let go of the cyclic. Park and brake on. And then I put it into idle. So that'll just bring my rotor blades speed down. And I'll bring it all the way down into off. That cuts off the fuel in this particular aircraft. Then I can keep my AP on. That'll just give me some power. I can do rotor brake, and that'll slow down the rotor blades. Super quick. And then I can open the doors for a bit of fresh air. You hear the sound of the APU. And I'm going to do rotor fold. So it can actually fold for parking on an aircraft carrier. Do I have a tail fold? No. Then I can turn off my APU. Turn off all my thingy-bobs. Should stop the power consumption. I think some of the basic batteries are modeled like that. We've got lights inside. Strobe. Nav lights, interior lights. Cool. Battery off. And that's her. She's dead, parked. You can do bail. See if this works. So I've always wanted to try this. So the camera is still over there. Probably just see me off to the side here. So as my avatar, I can actually bail and get out and do a little wave to you like that. So once you've bailed, you can move around freely, as you can see there. But you can't jump back in, unfortunately. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed my little stream. I had fun making it. And I'll shut it down now.